This is the SaunaBox Go. And if you've been thinking about buying this, maybe seen a few ads, I'm about to tell you what I think of it after using it. Is it sturdy? Is it worth it? Was it a scam? And this is my completely honest feedback. Well, they did send this to me. They're not paying me or anything like that. That being said, if you're thinking about getting one, I do have an affiliate link down below that you can check out. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps me out. All right, just to start off with, I've been in there for about 20-25 minutes. And if you can't tell, I'm completely drenched. Now, that being said, this is a little bit different. I actually might go back in because it's kind of cold out here. See, this thing is a steam sauna. So pretty much there is water boiling right over there. It pumps it in a hose, and then there's a little like canister in here, and it pumps steam in here. So that being said, when you sweat, it is a very, very different experience than when I use like my sweat tent. I've been using that for the past year plus, and that gets up to like 170, 200 degrees, wood fire. It's a very hot, like punishing heat, not punishing, but like it hurts, but you also feel like energized afterwards. Whereas opposed to this is like sitting in a rainforest. It's sitting in like a steamy shower, which is a great experience. It's just not like an intense experience. So that's the first thing is like, yes, I'm sweating, but how much of that is just water? Cause I'm literally just sitting in a steam room, and how much of that is heat? Because this is getting like, you know, to the 120 range maybe. I'm not really sure. That being said, I do feel really good right now. I don't feel like tired. I can only last like 10-15 minutes in the sweat tent. This thing, you could probably go for an hour and feel fine. So that is kind of the first point. It's like, it's just a different experience. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you're maybe a beginner and you're thinking about like, hey, I want to get something to start with. I'd like to have me and my wife or whoever it is, 2 people in here at the same time, which is something you couldn't do with the standing version of the SaunaBox, which I had before. This is great because you could definitely fit 2 people in here pretty comfortably. There's 2 chairs. You can sit next to each other and it wouldn't be like cramped. So I do think it would be pretty good for that. Now, as far as setup goes, this was very, very easy to set up. I was actually kind of shocked at how easy it was. The sides just like pop out, and then you put this like this flooring on. You like just stick it to the thing, and then you put a mat down and you're done. Literally like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. Very easy to put up and put down. Actually, I think it's better construction than the tall version of this, the regular one, which is like PVC, and that was like very, very tight. When I put that together, it ended up ripping a little bit. I actually think this is probably better construction because it's like the same setup as the sweat tent, really, where the sides just fold in, and like a lot of these tent saunas are doing this now, and I think it's a lot better like construction wise. It also has 2 windows, which I really like, so you can look out the sides, and those kind of like fold up and fold down, so you can do that or not as you want to. And you can take like 5 minutes, put this out, and then take another 5 minutes and pick it back up and put it away if you want to do that, although it would be wet afterwards, so I guess you'd have to let it dry, but it'd be very easy to do. Now, before we get to the negatives, I also want to mention this thing right here. The last one pretty much had like a crock pot or something, but this is definitely a better version. It hooks up to an app. You pretty much just put distilled water in here, it boils, and then it pumps it through this tube, and this seems pretty solid construction and definitely like an upgrade from the one that they used to have like a year ago. Now, I will put dimensions on screen, but as you can see, this is like chest level, so it's not something you can even come close to standing in. And to sit down in here, can't really see, but it's totally fine. There's plenty of headroom. Definitely does feel pretty spacious in here. You can fit 2 people pretty easily. Now, do I think this is actually worth it? Who should actually buy this, and what don't I like? Again, they are not paying me, although I do have an affiliate link if you are thinking of getting one for both this and the sweat tent. I personally think this is a good starter one. If you don't have space outside for like a wood fire one, you only have space, like I have this in my barn, you could have it in your garage, wherever, then this would probably be a no-brainer for you. If you want to get that sweat tent, you want to get it, you don't want to spend, you know, $1,000+, you don't want to spend $5,000 for one of the nicer ones like the barrel saunas or anything like that, then I think this is a really good setup, and I would prefer this than the standing one. I think this one's better than the standing one personally. Now, that being said, I do see people use saunas for, you know, a couple weeks, a couple months, and then they stop. So this is, again, a good one to start with if you've never done it before and you're not sure if you want to do that. Now, that being said, if you want to get that intense heat, I know a lot of the studies for saunas are like 176 plus, I believe, like temperature wise. So it's like that, those extreme temperatures. This is just not it. This is a steam room. Those are like saunas, so like kind of different. I guess it is called a SaunaBox. So it's just a different experience. So if you're thinking about more of that intense heat, that kind of next level, that step up, where maybe you start with this because it's the cheaper, you know, kind of get your foot in the door and see if you like it, see if you can do it for a long time. If you do that, then you can move up to something like the sweat tent or whatever, where it's one of those next level ones that are still portable, but you know, you have to start a fire and do all that, whereas this, you can turn it on with the app. It's very easy. Now, as far as things I do not like about this, first of all, the ground gets very wet. So it's like steamy in here, you're dripping, The floor feels a little bit cold and it's very, very wet. And I just don't love that feeling. Sensory thing maybe, and like, especially in the winter, the ground felt cold. But this being said, I actually have, you can't see it, but there's 2 chairs in here. I put my feet on one chair and I sat on the other one. It was amazing. I felt like I was like in a spa. It was great. So if you're in here by yourself, that way you don't have to have your feet on the floor where it's definitely like 20 degrees colder than it is like at chest level. I think it's great, but I don't love that super wet feeling. The other thing is, like I talked about, you're not going to get those same benefits. I don't believe, I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, but a lot of the podcasts that I listen to and studies that I've read all checked temperatures that were a lot higher than this. So I don't know if you'll get those same benefits that you get from other saunas in this when you're in that, you know, lower hundreds temperature. But then again, if you can't put a wood-fired sauna inside your house, you can put this inside your house. So I will say setup for this was incredibly easy. I never noticed this, but apparently there's a skylight up here, which is super cool. Now this does have a 2-year warranty on it, which is pretty solid when you think about, you know, more of a portable tent like this. It has the 2 chairs, it has the heat thing, it's got the floor mat. So pretty much everything you need to get started for $550, which is pretty good. Now that being said, personally, I'm not sure how often I'm going to use this. If I didn't have 2 other wood fire saunas that I had, I'd probably use this all the time. But since I have those, I enjoy those higher heat, so I'm probably going to use those. But for $550 versus, you know, like $1,200 for the other ones, it's pretty solid. Now this also is built with antimicrobial materials, which means it shouldn't really grow bacteria and mold and stuff like that. And it would also be pretty easy to air out or clean. So that shouldn't be something you have to worry about. So is it worth it overall? I would say yes if you're a beginner. So those are my general thoughts on this. If you got some value out of this and you're thinking about getting one, there's a discount link down below. You can check it out. It does really help support the channel because I'd love to keep reviewing these. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop them down below. I'd be happy to make another video or just answer every comment that I can. That being said, have a good rest of your day.